four things, the first four things that come into your mind when you hear the word India.
Large amount of people.
Oh,
I think of no, seriously, large amount of people. I think of the food. I think of recently I've been eating paneer.
Oh,
And so
oh,
that,
okay.
I think
Lovely.
of that.
you just gained the fan following of around 500 million people who are
Yeah,
vegetarians.
I think
Just right now, just by saying the word paneer, like that's what
the
happened.
huge audience. I think of cricket because it's not big on anywhere else.
Right.
That's a couple things that come to mind. But yeah, I've been eating a lot of paneer because it's been interesting.
Have you
I
tried?
think all the vegetarians in India are rejoicing that paneer is validated by Scarra officially. Like,
This is a side
Where,
note. Currently I'm on a diet that restricts my ability to. I'm on keto, so it restricts my carb and sugar intake, and so I'm constantly looking for food that I can eat. And I found out that paneer is really easy for me to eat on keto, and so it was one of the foods I found out oh, thank God I could eat something because I love curry, everything from I don't know, vindaloo to korma, all kinds of Indian food.
Okay.
But I can't eat it. It's literally cannot eat it. So being able to eat something that's Indian that
Right.
is it's around my dietary constraints is really nice for me.
So have you tried so you just said you tried vindaloo and you tried different Indian cuisine. So what is the few things do you like spicy food in general? Because Indian food tends to be a little spicy.
Yeah, I actually think I enjoy spicy food a little bit. Not too much, but I think both Indian food and Korean food are some of my favorite foods, and they can go disgustingly spicy. Literally, I cannot eat it levels of spice. I'm not there. I'm halfway there, maybe 30% of the way there. But it's enjoyable to have that level of, I guess, heat, some sort of spiciness. It adds to the flavor.
That's pretty nice. Do you is there what's your favorite Indian dish at this point if you have
I used to really like lamb biryani, but I don't know anymore.
Biryani. Another Indian people now love you. The non-Vegetarians now love you.
I was huge on because not many cuisines can eat lamb. Just straight up, there's not many places that are big on lamb, and so when I take a lot of I have Indian food because I can get that level of lamb with some sort of extra stuff. So lamb biryani used to be my shit because I love rice. I love everything to do with rice, carbs, and all of that kind of stuff. And so that used to be my favorite. I used to order it nonstop. Legit, when I used to be at Dig, we had a favorite Indian place that me, Cutie, and Kiwi would go to all the time and eat from there. But that was probably my favorite food of all time. Recently, I don't know. It's kind of difficult, I guess. I think korma's really good. It's but I don't. It's hard to say what my second favorite is. I need to try more. I will be. Maybe not anytime soon, but it's just.
If you ever get a chance to come to India, just let us know. We'll take you out of the best places and make you try the different kinds of cuisines. If you ever do want to come there, we'll be glad to host you.
Dude, it's actually a situation where I'm thinking about traveling, and it's always nice to think of going to a country because one of the reasons to go to a country is to try out their food, straight up. Yeah. Food is what connects us, and so I think it'd be cool. I'll think about it. There's a lot of options right now.
But India is hot and humid too. So
oh god,
you might wanna.
I mean, it depends. If you're on the coastal line, then it's Singapore all over again. But if you're on the central part of the country where the heat is not as humid, I think it's fine. So you'll have to just be a little careful about the places you end up visiting.
Right.
Anywhere on the coastal line is going to be humid. So I think that's the same reason why even Singapore is humid, because it's the coastal line, the sea and the oceans, so the humidity is a top notch right there.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to ask you about basically the gender bend cosplays that Sneaky and Boxbox have been putting, especially Sneaky these days. He's just going full out on the gender bend cosplays. Who do you think did it better, and who do you want to see Sneaky cosplay next?
This is a serious question.
Yes.
I mean, I think
we are moving on to lighter topics now.
Oh, this is the serious topics now. Before we're just
all right.
I wasn't sure. Okay, so I think Sneaky did it better, and the reason is not because Boxbox looks worse. It's because Sneaky's girlfriend is a professional cosplayer, you know, and so like literally her makeup is so good. The shots that she gets professionally done by like cosplay photographers, like photographers who've been in the scene for 5 years. And so like when I see shots like that, I'm just like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like it's a very professional thing that they have together. I think it's really cool, to be honest. I think that the fact that Sneaky can find like, you know, a girl that he's able to share her passion and integrate it with his life is something that's like, you know, that's goals for me. Like that's hopefully I find someone like that for myself as well. And so I think that like I vote for Sneaky, and a lot of that is because I think that his girlfriend is incredibly talented with what she does. I think her name is Esther. Really good.
Estelle, yeah.
Who do you like to see Sneaky cosplay next?
I don't even know. I think it'd be cool to see like a cosplay that he's not like a Diana or something, like a champion that he's not super like big in. But like, to be honest, he's doing all kinds of stuff. Most of the stuff he's doing is actually more anime related.
Yeah, anime.
And so like I have no idea, to be honest. Like I'm not
huge.
Do
Lux though.
Yeah, that's true. He did do Lux, but then he did Ram Amelia. He recently did that one other one that I forgot, but
he did this
Civil, yeah.
Wow, you guys are really on top of this. This is really the main topic. You guys actually know all of it. Okay, well, I'm just saying that I don't exactly know. You know, I don't have a favorite waifu or whatever or any of that. I just think he should just do whatever he wants, you know, and whatever he does, it's gonna be good, in my opinion, because he's got a great girl to help him out, and I think that like it's just cool to cosplay. Like even for me, I recently did a Warrior cosplay. That was really funny, just super fun, and I will be taking that to TwitchCon with me, you know?
Oh, wow.
Okay,
so what are some of the other characters like you want to cosplay in the future? Like, what are your favorite, you know, anime characters or League of Legends? You know,
I don't know.
I think like I have a question.
I used to a lot. It wasn't that I watch anime. I used to watch or read a lot of manga. Like usually when I get into something, I get obsessively into it. So when people are like, "Hey, I read manga," and I'm like, "No, you don't." Like I read manga. You just dabble. Because for a period of 4 or 5 years, I read 3 hours a day on average. So I literally read everything. I read every update, every potential new manga that came out for a period of 3, 4 years, or 4 or 5 years. I knew. So no one could tell me about something unless it is in the category of shoujo that I didn't know. Because I read every single day. I spent 3 hours reading. I read Hajime no Ippo 2,000 chapters plus multiple times, 3 times now, I think.
Whoa.
I have literally read every popular manga, or tried to. You know, I knew Attack on Titan was gonna be big before it even came out, because you know I was reading it nonstop. I had hoped World Trigger was gonna be good, but it turned out being like a lot worse. I like the 7 Deadly Sins, whatever. I caught all this before when reading manga. I no longer do this obsessively anymore, but like for a period of time, like you could not ask me about something that I did not know. I read everything from horror to like action to like drama, everything. Like, literally I could not explain. Like when I asked people for recommendations, I just stopped. Stop even trying, because I'd read everything.
That's something I didn't know about Scarra. That's pretty interesting to hear, because like a lot of us are also anime and manga fans too. So hearing that from you is very, very unexpectedly nice.
Oh yeah, like I was reading when when I stopped reading stuff like Tower of God was just like incredible, like just stupidly good. I hear it still is, and like I hear like Promised Neverland is really good too, and stuff like that. So like sometimes I get tempted to go back and maybe I'll read like a thing or two, but I no longer do that. I spend my free time reading like fantasy fiction and web novels online now. Before the hours I'd spent doing that, like I think it went from like manga to like I was reading before, and then it was manga, and then it became like TV shows, and it became like whatever, and then now it's all the way back to reading again. And so I typically read like 2 hours a day, give or take.
Oh wow, that's pretty nice.
That just like came back full circle.
Yep.
So right now, what are your favorite champions to play, and what are your favorite champions all time? No, like without the reworks or with the reworks or everything considered.
My favorite champion, both of all time and right now, is Lee Sin.
Okay.
Is the champion I have the most games played on across every season on all my accounts. I think champions that I currently like playing. I play stuff like Lissandra. Oh, actually, yeah, it's really weird. I have like a lot of different like kind of. I want to play certain things at certain times, and they're all random. Like I'll spend a month playing this one champion that just sucks, and I'll spend another month playing another champion that sucks. So this month is, I think, I'm playing a ton of Lissandra right now. I think I love Talon though. I think he's by far my best champion, and so like Talon's really fun. Lissandra's really fun, and I'll always play like a bunch of casts. I think so that's my current champions I enjoy, like Lee Sin,
Lissandra,
Talon. And I like to play Zed. He's just terrible in the current meta, literally god awful. So okay, cool. In terms of champions of all time that I enjoy playing, it's gotta be like stuff like Lisa and Cat Diana. Stuff that I was actually famous for are just champions I enjoy playing. I don't enjoy them that much anymore because they suck. They're just so bad. Like I can't play the champions. They're that bad. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, no, everything else is good. I think a lot of the legacy champions. Oh, I'm playing a lot of AP Gragas mid lane. I'm feeding my ass off on it, but it's super fun.
It's like
So I think over like a lot of seasons, like he was always been like a mainstay of like my champion pool. But yeah, the game changes so much, and so I'll always have new champions I love to play. Champions that people don't recognize me for. So if you ask me next, I had a period of time where I literally only played AP Nasus mid for a month straight. AP Cho'Gath month straight. Urgot top month straight. AP Malphite. Stuff like that. And so ask me again another month. I'm sure it'll be something different.
What did you think of the do you like pre-Katarina, pre-rework Katarina or post-rework Katarina more?
I think she's more fun post-rework, but she's also a worse champion. And she's not balanced around players who are good. She's balanced around the average players, and she can never be balanced correctly due to her passive. So she's like pretty much impossible to play, because if you're playing against someone who's better than you, you always lose, pretty much. So you can only win if you're better than them or your team's better than them, which is something that's like, especially with how important mid lane is a pick you play. If you play her, you're actively hurting your team a lot of times, which sucks. Like actually just sucks. I hate it. So I don't play her that much. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, with a lot of reworks, happening across the board, like everything from the visual updates to actual champion reworks, like Nunu. Who do you think? Which champion do you personally want, Riot to leave? Away from keep away from the ban hammer. I mean, not the rework hammer, not ban hammer. I'm sorry.
I think I generally don't mind any of the reworks. I think all the reworks are fine. I like it when champs get reworked. And in terms of champions I want to get reworked, I want Mordekaiser and Diana to get reworked. Mordekaiser for sure, and Diana just
yeah.
Just Diana is just for me. I actually hope Diana gets reworked because I think that it could be really. Her theme is so cool, lunar, goddess, but what she actually does in game is stupid. Like it's nothing about the theme of the moon or any of that, or her fighting Solari. It's literally just, well, I guess she has like an eclipse and like her abilities kind of shoot like a moon, but realistically like she's just a burst champion, 100 you. Like I don't think it's cool. I think Leona's kind of a lot, I guess, cooler and more thematic, in my opinion. I think they kind of missed the mark a little bit with Diana.
What changes would you like if you had to, redesign Diana? What changes would you make in terms of, any of
on the very first, oh god, let me think. See if I could share. The very first iteration of Diana, her ulti was not her R. Actually, her ulti was her
okay.
E.
Okay.
The very first iteration. So I think it's right here. Here we go. So this is our very first iteration of her mock-up, you know, in terms of like what she was supposed to do. They shared this at a panel a long time ago. I think it was back when Riot did a lot of PAX work, and so her ult used to be her E. And I think thematically, I think that's super cool. You know, and I think her E has the potential to be really cool. And I think like making her like ulti more of like a normal ability would allow her to kind of play. It will allow her to play. You know, she feels like she's not a champion till 6, similar to Kassadin, but like without like kind of the payoff. Like it feels kind of sucky, you know. And I think that like maybe shifting something like this would be an interesting idea. But whatever happens, I think that you can kind of do kind of what they did with Malzahar, where you can combine one of her I guess passive abilities and shove it to something else, and then make a whole new ability that makes her thematically cool. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Not a whole rework, but something to make her just enjoyable to play. I think currently she is very unenjoyable to play.
Understandable. I have a small question with just regarding the League of Legends currently as an esport. So now we currently know Fortnite is extremely popular. PUBG in India really as well, quite popular. And a lot of the battle royale sort of games and even other sports are getting a lot of traction. And League has been called a dying game by a lot of people, which isn't really true if you look at the numbers, in my opinion. But what do you think is the strength behind this resilience of League of Legends? And do you think that in the years to come, if not the distant future, but in the near future, do you think League is going to still maintain its stronghold as one of the most watched esports and, you know, like stuff like Fortnite? Or do you think Fortnite is just here to stay for a longer time, or it'll just have its flair of the year, for the month, and, you know, maybe go off some? Need to know your thoughts on the whole esports scenario right now with the different
battle royales are going to stay around for a long time. I think the way I see League of Legends was MOBAs came about because RTS players wanted to play micro. That's it. RTS was built into macro and micro portions. Right. So when you're playing stuff like StarCraft, you have situations where you build bases and situations where you fight. Like very close. Right. And the way DoTA started was it was a micro map built off of Warcraft 3, right?
Right.
And before that, Aeon Strife was in StarCraft. And so it's just, I think the introduction of MOBAs is the idea that, hey, micro players wanted something to play that was more focused around a single character or a couple characters. And so that's how League of Legends started. And that's how like DoTA started, you know. It took advantage of that market. And nowadays, like, if you look at the market, there are no more RTS games. Because if you're a macro player, you play 4X games. You play Civ, you play like Supreme Commander, you know. You don't play RTS because there are no RTSs on the market that aren't StarCraft. And if you're a micro player, you play a bunch of MOBAs. But there's no RTSs left. So I think that MOBAs came apart during a time where people were really like kind of figured out exactly the niche that they liked. And I think kind of maybe the same is true for Fortnite. You know, people are looking for like playing a shooter, but not super competitively. I think battle royales have always been a thing that we're like, the idea is really cool. And I think that like combining that with a shooter that is a resource limited shooter is like a really smart idea. You know, there were books like Hunger Games built based around it. Even before that, there was that Japanese manga based around it, right?
Battle Royale.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, that's how the name got started. So, it's just a kind of a Fortnite is just the adaptation of that plus Minecraft. Actually, it looks like that with both visually as well as the audience. Literally the age of your audience is the same too, and so that's how you should think about it. And I think that's really cool. They're able to capture those types of markets to bring it toward one game. And PUBG is kind of really interesting because it was the premier one, and I see it very similarly to like kind of the Dota 2 of you know, battle royales, whereas like it's a much more serious kind of game where like look at Fortnite, they got llamas in there, you know, like all kinds of bounce pads, silly stupid stuff but it's like League. It's very colorful and like more casual people like to play it more, generally speaking, especially in the West, right? In the East, I hear PUBG is insane, actually disgustingly big in China. But in the West, for the most part, like it's very similar for me to League. And so I don't think either of the games are dying. Any of the 3 games are dying. I think that League has a chance. League did really bad this year, both at the PR level and a lot of the stuff they ended up doing. So they have a chance to pull it back in 2019. I hope they do. Riot spending a lot of marketing dollars. Like I just flew back from one of the biggest show matches, period. Right, play with Tyler and Katie on stage, and that's, to be fair, the best positive PR that Riot's had in this year.
Right.
People love
it. And that's depressing. Like, actually, every day I go to the subreddit and I read bad stuff. Every day.
Yep.
And, like, it's just not been a good year for Riot. And I think that they understand that, like, they're not only putting more marketing money in, but also, like, they're really gonna hype stuff up. You know, I'm really excited for 2019 because I think it's their make or break year. I thought that was 2018 actually, but 2019 is actually their make or break year because 2018 just was their bad year.
It was a bad year.
And now it's like, I think after one bad year, you have a chance to recover, and if you don't, then you're done.
You have to get it right this time.
Exactly. So I think 2019 is super important for being able to cover a lot of bases.
True. All right. So just to close off this podcast, what's next for Scarra? Like, you currently set up as a full-time streamer. You have the offline TV gaming house as well. But do you have any plans for yourself in the near future or in like a long term about how you want to take everything forward?
Financially, I know where I want to be in the future at some point. You know, I think we could start with what I do know, and we'll work toward what I don't. So what I do know is in the future, I would like to own real estate and make passive income off that, so that to support like the lifestyle I currently have. So looking toward my future, that is something that I would prefer to have financially. Professionally, I have a lot on my plate. I have offline TV and my own personal brand of streaming and kind of where to take that. And I don't know if people really know this, but like a lot of the streamers like sit down and think about this all the time. Like for me, especially, it's like, well, how's my growth recently? What should I be looking to do? Like, how do I hit it? Actually, I'll just tell you, you know, today I hired a PA to help me do market research for my own brand in comparison to other people. And, you know, I'm supposed to talk to her today, actually, about like her findings. I had her like research a lot of different things for me and come back and be like, what do you think I should do? Or what can you work with me to do better? You know? And so like, that's the kind of stuff that people always think about. Like, what's the next best thing? Like, for me, I always look toward the future. Like, what can I do better? You know?
Right.
I think that like, I don't really aspire to have anything else right now on my plate because I think my plate's pretty full as it is. I'm streaming like, you know, 60 hours a week. And on top of that, I'm doing offline TV for like 20 hours a week. There's not enough hours for me to do other things unless I just don't want to live. And so I guess I could see... Okay, so financially, I see that as my future. Professionally, I like what I'm doing right now. I'm looking to expand to make it better. So both my personal brand, both offline TV, I'm looking to make those and level them up. To like, you like offline TV right now, but we've got good ideas in the future to make it better. You know, and Mark and Josh came up with a great idea that I really want to see happening in the future. And then we have my personal brand, everything from what I want to do on Twitch. How do I want to do I want to stream variety? I've been streaming different variety games to test it out and see if I really enjoy it. Do I want to what am I kind of looking for in terms of like what platforms do I want to be approaching? I'll probably be focusing on YouTube or try to focus on YouTube even more. And kind of like, who do I want to work with for X, Y, and Z? That's all the stuff I'm doing on a personal level. Relationship wise, I think it'd be nice to meet a nice girl. Maybe someone like Sneaky's girlfriend, you know. And then you'll see me doing cross dressing as well, cosplays. It'll be perfect.
I think that'd be a bigger hit than Sneaky's if you're.
But to be honest, like I find that like for me, relationships are something that can happen in the future, you know, and maybe it can happen concurrently. But I think generally that like from what I've learned, because I've had relationships in the scene, like while I've been a pro player, and from what I've learned is like all relationships are effort. Not only romantic relationships where I'm interested in another girl. Also personal relationships, like me with the rest of the house. I stream so much every day, like 60 hours a week, right? 70 hours a week. Sometimes I don't see people in my house, and that strains our personal relationship. So I try to make time in my day to kind of hang out with them, talk to them about stuff, and that's a lot of effort. And so I think my focus is more on personal relationships and less on romantic relationships at the moment, plus balancing the business aspects of things. And I think that, like, for me in the future, I always think, everything's going to work out. So I don't need to worry too much about it. Just I focus on what I should want to focus on at the moment. It's how do I, like, my personal brand, my personal relationships, and I guess offline TV. Not I guess, it is offline TV. So those three are my big, like, pies in the sky right now. And that's all I'm thinking about, and all I'm going to do in the near future.
Well, we wish you all the best for that. I think that does it for the questions that we have. So we would like to conclude by saying it was an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks a lot for doing this. And I mean, like, it was a great opportunity that I think we were lucky enough to get. And I think speaking for you for the last 1 hour has been really insightful. Like, getting to know your thoughts on a lot of different things and how beautifully you elaborate a lot of things for us. Like, genuinely was, for me at least, a pleasure to like listen to it. So thanks a lot for doing this, Scarra. Like, really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, so
I'm glad you guys like you found it insightful. Generally speaking, like I'm not here. I prefer to be humble than anything else. Because I've always had issues where, like, hubris was a big pain in the ass when I was younger. So I'm glad you guys can learn stuff from this. I really enjoyed coming on the show, sharing my experiences. I find that, like, on some level, I'm a little bit narcissistic in that I like to listen to myself talk. It's just, luckily, on my field, both on this podcast and on my stream and on my YouTube, that's like a good thing for me. So I'm just very lucky. I'm a very lucky individual. But I very appreciate the invite to this show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it does well.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, that does it for the podcast with Scarra. Please, if you guys like our content, feel free to subscribe, and that's it for us. See you.